is a little confusing. So I think it's good review again. Yeah.
Maybe you don't have to study that much later, huh?
Yes, yes. I don't have more interesting plans, so it's good review.
Hello, Marcos. How are you?
I'm great.
Hi, Marcos. How are you?
That's good to know.
Have you eaten a lot of chocolate these days?
What is that again?
Have you eaten a lot of chocolate these days?
The chocolate.
No, not really. Not really. Have you?
Yes, of course, because this I'm happy. Come on, guys.
I didn't have chocolate show. Yeah.
You didn't get any chocolate egg?
I get.
Carol?
I know.
You didn't get any chocolate egg for Easter?
No.
Really?
Yes, this Easter no.
Wow.
Yes, I couldn't buy the chocolate eggs this Easter.
Why?
Because I am in quarantine, so it's not possible. Well, but after the Easter, I think, oh my God, I can buy online, but I couldn't think about this.
But I thought that going to the supermarket is one of the actions that you are allowed to do, isn't it?
Yes, it's true.
But I think maybe there are no supermarkets at the place where you are. Is there in a supermarket there?
In Araçoiaba. Now I am in São Bernardo. I come back to São Bernardo.
But in Araçoiaba,
yes. But in Araçoiaba, only the small no supermarkets, the small markets, only
it's called grocery shop. Grocery
shops, exactly. Grocery
shops.
Yeah.
Yes. In the past, when the supermarkets didn't exist, we had only grocery shops.
Yeah.
And then then the supermarkets came into existence and the grocery shops practically disappeared. Okay.
Yeah.
Here in Minas, when I go down, because as I told you, I live on a farm, when I go down to the city, there is a small village here where there are 2 or 3 grocery shops. You can find basic things, okay?
Yeah.
But usually, come on, chocolate is a basic thing. So you find chocolate in the grocery shop, right? It's a basic thing for your health.
I agree with you, but you see, the problem is, one of my neighbors even sent us a chocolate egg for Easter, okay? It's funny because to avoid any interaction, they left the egg at the entrance to my farm, understand? So I just got a message. Like the bunny, the Easter bunny just passed by your gate and left you a surprise. So I walked all the way there and there was a good size Easter egg. But I gave it to my wife. I can't eat chocolate, you know. I have diabetes. I have diabetes. And if I eat chocolate, it's not good for me.
Yeah.
But anyway, Marcos, today's class is a very important class. It can be a little tricky, can be a little confusing, okay?
Right.
Because it's a matter that causes confusion for Brazilians. For example, what is correct to say? I avoid to go there, or I avoid, for example, to go out, or avoid going out. Understand?
Understood. Preposition.
Yes, we are going to talk about the choice in use between the gerund and the infinitive, okay? Certain verbs require one, certain verbs require the other. And in certain situations, you can use both. That's what makes it confusing. So without further delay, let me share my screen with you. And then, since there are only 2 students, We can talk a lot. I can get examples from you to see if you understood or not. Okay.
Oh, teacher, let me ask you something. Don't have the relation with this matter, but I have one doubt. For example, can I use the verb delegate? For example, I have difficult to delegate some tasks. It's correct to use this delegate.
The verb exists. Understand? I will just try to find, because you see, I can tell you something. I'm just asking my friend here. I'm not as fast as Marcos is. Oh, look who's back. Okay. Oh, Marco. Livia.
Very good. Livia's back.
Yes. Hello, Livia.
Now we have 2 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So today, be careful. Oh, Marco.
Hi.
By the way, have you been able to find yourself a Russian bride or not yet?
Not yet.
Oh my gosh.
But you're looking.
I have to be really careful in my research because there are a lot of websites about this, and some websites not so legal. Yeah, possible websites too.
Yeah, some of them only want your money, huh?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, if they discover you are an electrical engineer, they'll come to Salvador tomorrow.
No way.
Okay. You see, Carol, I was telling you that all verbs, okay, that are very similar to Portuguese, they come from Latin, like delegate, extinguish the fire, construct. These verbs exist in English, but they are less common than the Latin, not the Latin, the Anglo-Saxonic verbs, okay? So, for example, in English, I was checking for this. They prefer to say entrust. Entrust. But it's the same of delegate, okay?
Okay.
All right?
Perfect. Right. I can imagine that for me, it's not so good in my listen the delegate.
But I can tell you something. If you're writing a legal paper or something, using Latin terms is highly recommended. Understand?
Okay.
Because who reads a legal paper? Only well-educated people. And the problem of using Latin terms is with less educated people. For example, if you tell a teenager in the United States, can you extinguish the fire? He's going to look at you and say, what? Extinguish the fire, please. What are you talking about? I'm sure he has never heard, because this word is not part of his vocabulary. But if you tell him or her, like, hey, put out the fire, immediately he understands. Because put out comes from Anglo-Saxon. Understand? It's just like, I have tested this. I have tried this with many teenagers just to have some fun. Understand? In the United States, in Canada. Like, we are just constructing a new shed. And they say, you're doing what? Constructing. What is that? They don't understand the verb to construct, because they say build. They say put up. Put up. Understand? So for them, Latin terms are the most difficult words. Have you ever heard about a test called TOEFL?
Yes, I heard about it.
Yeah.
TOEFL is a test, a proficiency test that you are required to take if you want to go to a university in the United States for a graduate degree or undergraduate degree or even a post
master degree, first degree.
Yes, or a PhD.
Doctorate degree, yes.
Yes. So I remember that I studied English for 6 months, preparing myself to take the TOEFL test to be accepted into the university. And when it came to the reading section, which was theoretically the most difficult section, my teacher told me, in this section, I can't do much to help you. You have to read a lot, you have to study a lot because the words are difficult. And when I was doing the real test, the first question, I started laughing in the middle of the test, really, like giggling. And one of the guys that was looking after us, he, shoo, quiet. And I'm sorry. Why? Because the first word that I found that had been underlined and they wanted to know the meaning was reproduce. Can you believe that this is considered a difficult word for Americans?
Really?
Yes, because it's a Latin term. You know what they say? Breed.
Yeah.
B-R-E-E-D. So this is easy for them, but reproduce. And then I found the 3 words that we use on an everyday basis in Brazil in the TOEFL test. Reproduce, elegant, which is a French word. They don't use it. They prefer fancy. Okay? And recompense. When you offer a recompense. They don't understand this because they say reward, a reward, but they don't like recompense. Okay? All right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Good. Can we start the class?
Yes.
Yes, of course.
Okay. Hello, Livia. Welcome back. Livia, are you still there? Livia.
I'm here. I'm back.
Yeah.
She's alive.
Hi, Livia.
Congratulations.
Yeah, were you on vacation?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
was
did you go?
resting last week.
I thought you had gone to Italy or Spain or
Oh
something
my
like
gosh,
that.
never mind.
A vacation.
But I'm back
Welcome
now.
back.
Thank
Good,
you.
good to see that you're back. You see, I had a hard time to find a joke about a lawyer, but when I found the joke, you were not here, okay? So you missed.
Oh,
Okay?
sorry.
Okay, today we are going to talk about something that I said that it often causes confusion. Is the choice between the gerund or infinitive after verbs, okay? So the gerund is the ing form, and the infinitive is to plus a verb in the base form, okay? Let me make the necessary corrections here as I read with you. So we have walking, playing, working, and then we have to walk, to play, or to work. So the gerund, the ing, is a lot more commonly used than many people think. Oh, the first case can, for example, our almost new student again, Livia, can you read this first case and the examples for us and we can discuss this, please?
Yes, number 1. As the subject of a sentence, walking is a good exercise. Smoking is not so good for the health.
Okay. Every time you want to make a verb the subject of a sentence, and then you use another verb, this verb needs to be in the ing. And the translation, for God's sake, is never caminhando é bom exercício. No. Okay? I remember the first time I saw a sign like this was in a hospital in the USA and was smoking is not permitted in this area. And I kept thinking about fumando não é permitido, fumando. It took me some time to understand the concept. But it's not the present continuous. It's not to be plus a verb in the ing. Here, walking, smoking is used as the subject. Understand? So the verb in both cases is. Oh, you see? Smoking, walking is. So that's the verb of the sentence. Not walking, not smoking. So you want to start any sentence with a verb, use it in the ing. Okay?
Okay.
Marcus, can you read the second for us?
Okay. In continuous or progressive tense after the verb to be. Mary is walking to school now. We are working at this moment.
Yeah, this is the classical case that everybody's familiar with, which is the present continuous, but I also use it in the past continuous, future continuous, present perfect continuous, past perfect continuous, all the continuous tense that it can imagine. But in this case, it's mandatory to use the verb to be. So this is the case you can translate like ando, ando, indo. Understand?
Yeah.
This is the only case you translate ando, ando, indo. No other case. Carol, can you read the number 3, please?
Yes. Let me a second. I don't know what's happened. I can see. Now, yes.
If you open...
Yeah, yes, now I can see. I closed it.
Okay.
As an adjective after certain verbs.
Okay.
She is a boring person. I heard some surprising news.
Oh, Carol, is it
Oi.
as or s?
As an adjective.
You're very funny.
As an adjective.
I remember that day.
As an adjective. As an adjective.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, pronounce it together. As an adjective.
Oh my
I'll
God.
never forget it.
No, never more.
I
Carol.
remember the class. Imagine the teacher.
Oh, Carol.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but you made another terrible mistake, and it's kind of embarrassing, and I have to correct you in front of the other people. I know
What's
that you are a
now?
lawyer. I know that you are a lawyer. I'm taking my chances here. Livia.
Be brave.
Livia, help me, please.
No, you are a criminal lawyer, so can you get out of the room for 5 minutes and after you come back?
Yes, sure.
Carol, how did you read the first example? She suck.
Such, no?
Yes. You said suck.
Suck, really?
Suck. Yes.
Oh my gosh, I put my S in the phrase and after that I talk suck.
Yeah, I am glad that the sentence was not like this. I did, this would have been worse. You know, I did many things, such as shopping. If you had read incorrectly here, the situation would be horrible.
Yes,
interesting.
No, I refuse even to pronounce it, okay? I am too old to say things like this, okay?
Oh my God, I'm crying.
Yes, so please, it's such as, okay?
Okay.
No sucking ass, all right?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, terrible. Oh, in this case, I don't know if Olivia was here last week, but we studied the use of verbs in the gerund as adjectives, okay? So all the verbs, practically, there was a huge list of verbs that I included there. I think 40 verbs can be used in the ing and the ed as an adjective. Ed is when you feel something like, she's such a boring person. If you talk to her for 5 minutes, for instance, you feel like killing yourself, okay? Because she's very boring. So as a consequence, you will get bored, okay? I heard some surprising news. That means I was surprised. because the news were surprising. Okay? We talked about this last week. If you haven't seen the lesson, I suggest you download the material and study because, it took me almost 5 hours to try to do a complete list. Okay?
It has a lot of adjectives, a big list.
Yes. Marco saw the list.
Every time I'm talking about myself, I will use ed.
Yes, when you refer to how you feel, you use the ed.
Okay.
Like if you remember that you told me in our last class that you were tired.
Yes.
Remember? It's because you had some tiring days.
Okay, I get it.
It's always you get, you feel, you hear, you taste ed when other people or other things are the ing. It's always like that. Understand?
Okay. Yes.
Like I was shocked when Carol put her ass in the middle of the conversation. Okay? I wanted to close my eyes, understand? I am very glad that her camera is off. Or I would probably have
I'm very embarrassed.
She's embarrassed. And I would probably have a heart attack because I'm old. Okay, I can't see such a thing. Okay?
Okay.
Marcus, can you read the next number 4?
Take care.
Oh my God. As an object of prepositions. We were talking about going to campus this weekend. I'm interested in learning more about this program.
Here I have probably the most important thing of the day to tell you. After all prepositions without exception, no exception. If you have to use a verb, the verb is always in the ing. Always. So when you say, for example, I am going to campus, to here is a preposition. But campus is not a verb, so no problem. Understand?
Yeah.
When you say, for example, I need to talk to you. In this case, to is not a preposition. To is part of the infinitive that is mandatory to be used after the verb need. Understand? That's why you say, I need to talk. Need requires the infinitive. You will see a list of all the verbs that require the infinitive. But for example, when I say, especially the lawyers, I object to, in a court, it's very common when the lawyer raises the hand and say, I object to listening. Listening to that. You see, to in this case is part of the verb. I object to. So it's mandatory to use the gerund.
What is the meaning of this phrase? I object to listening to that.
It's when you oppose to that. You don't want to hear that.
Okay.
Understand? Imagine, I am a married person. I have been married for 35 years. I do love my wife. Understand? And then some friends invite me to go out for a beer. I say, it's okay, but they want to go to a strip bar. And then I say, I'm sorry. I object to going there. I don't want to trouble with my wife. Understand? So I object to going there. Okay?
Okay.
Like as I said in the last class, I myself, I write a lot of business mails, emails, letters every day. At the end of it, I always use, I look forward to hearing from you. This is the classical way of ending a business email or a business letter. I look forward to hearing. I look forward to getting the quotation I requested. Today I wrote to the airline company, Iberia, and I ended like, I look forward to hearing about my complaint because they destroyed my suitcase, disappeared with some of my clothes on the way back to Brazil. Understand? Yeah. So I look forward to hearing back. This is a very good expression. And you need to understand that when to is a preposition, it's not followed by the infinitive. It's followed by the ing. That's the case of object to, and I look forward to. Okay?
Okay.
So, Marcus, can you read the two examples we have here, please?
You are talking about going to campus this weekend, and I'm interested in learning more about this program.
Okay, I'm interested.
Oh, thank you. I'm interested.
Okay. Okay, good. Livia, can you read number 5, please?
Yes. Certain verbs should always be followed by the gerund. I avoid drinking early in this morning. I really
in the morning.
In the morning. I really enjoy traveling on the weekends.
Okay. You will find here at the end of this class a long list with all the verbs that are followed by the infinitive and all the verbs that are followed by the ing. So avoid and enjoy are both there. That's the problem that Brazilians have. You don't memorize the verbs, and then you can write or you can say, I avoid to drink. It's incorrect.
Incorrect?
Yes, it is incorrect. I enjoy to travel. It is incorrect. It's wrong. Understand? And if you ever have to take a proficiency test, this is what they are going to exploit. Little details, understand? Because many people don't memorize lists of verbs, and then they love. It's a very easy sentence, but if I say, I avoided to drink early in the morning, it sounds okay, but it's wrong. Okay? Now, yes.
A question about this test. Is it easy to do this test? TOEFL or IELTS? It's a complicated test to do.
I'm going to be very honest with you. It's tricky. It's not difficult. Understand? It's tricky. You have to know the tricks they use, especially to mislead you. Understand? Like the listening part is the part considered the most difficult by Brazilians. And it's always easy. Of course, I have been preparing people to take this test for more than 30 years, okay? So I can easily answer the questions without even listening to what they're going to say. I only look at the possible answers and I know which one is the correct. Because the answer is never what you hear. It's always a synonym to what you hear. So you listen to one sentence and then you have 4 possible responses. And then you analyze them and you observe that certain words are repeated many times in 2 or 3. When it's only 2, then I don't know, I have to listen. But sometimes you have in 3. So I know that those 3 are wrong. The correct is a completely different one. I'll give you an example of a real listening TOEFL test. One person says something like this. Coffee tastes extremely... no. One person says, what did you think of the coffee this morning? The other person says, it tastes extremely bitter this morning. And the question is, what does the second person mean? And then alternative A, the coffee is extremely better this morning. The coffee is very good. The coffee tasted a little cold this morning. The coffee tasted terrible this morning. You see, the idea is to mislead you, to confuse you with words that have similar sounds. Because actually what the guy said was, it tastes extremely bitter this morning. Bitter, not better. So the first alternative contains the word better. And 80% of the students answer A. Yes, because it's the same sound. It tastes extremely better this morning. But he said it tastes extremely bitter this morning. If it's bitter, it's no good. Understand? Yeah. So the correct answer was extremely bad. No words that were mentioned are in the correct response. Okay? So you have to prepare yourself. I can give you an example. It takes time to prepare. If you take a course outside Brazil, usually takes 3 months to prepare. But when you know the language, when you know the verbs, I'll give you a real example. My son, my younger son, he needed to take the TOEFL to apply for a scholarship, okay, to a university in the United States. Yes. He called me one night and said, "Father, what is the TOEFL like?" I said, "It's going to be like this, and this." I spoke to him in 15 minutes. I explained it. Be careful with this, be careful with this, be careful with this, study this, review this. When are you going to do the test? He said, "Tomorrow morning." I said,
"Oh my gosh."
And you called me tonight?
No, wait a minute. Is the engineer computer science this one?
Yes, yes.
Ah, no way, teacher. This one is the master one. No, the nerd. This one is the nerd one. It's not count.
I told you he was a bookworm. Have you ever heard this expression?
No.
No.
Book, worm. You know what's a worm that you use when you go fishing?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
If you call a person a bookworm, it's because this person eats the books. Understand? They destroy the book. It's another word for nerd, a bookworm.
A nerd.
But it was very funny because he took the test. I called him after 5 hours because I was very anxious. And I said, "How was it?" He said, "Piece of cake. As you told me, I was prepared for it." I said, "Okay, I prepared you in 15 minutes." He said, "No, it wasn't." But I have been teaching them. They grew up with us in the United States for some time. So English for them, they dominate the language, understand? Yeah. So once you dominate the language and you learn the tricks, you can do them easily. The problem is when you don't know grammar, you don't know the language, and then it takes a long time for you to prepare. Just to give you an idea, the preparation course book for the TOEFL has 780 pages.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, it's big. So, Livia, I want to listen to your voice. I was missing it. Can you read the number 6?
Number 6. We also have many expressions with the verb go plus verb plus ing.
Okay.
Why don't we go bowling tonight? Do you want to go swimming this afternoon? I went sightseeing yesterday.
Excellent, thank you. You see, in English, and there is a table, I try to include all the expressions with the verb to go, okay?
Yes.
This is very interesting, and it often confuses Brazilians because imagine an American saying, "You want to go swimming?" Then you think, go swimming? Go where? Understand? But it's not go where, it's go swimming. We would probably only say, "You want to swim?" Or "Let's swim?" Or "Let's fish?" Okay? But in English, no, they prefer to go swimming, to go skiing, to go shopping, to go horseback riding. So look at the list of idiomatic expressions with the verb to go. Oh, go bird watching. This is not very common in Brazil, but Europeans and Americans love this. I think it's very boring, understand? You stay hours in the middle of the bushes just to watch some birds, okay?
Oh my gosh.
Go boating, go bowling, go camping, go canoeing, go dancing. Oh, isn't it easier for us? You want to dance? They say, you want to go dancing? They prefer go fishing, go hiking, go hunting, go jogging, go mountain climbing, go running. It needs space here. Go sailing in a boat, you know, go shopping, go sightseeing, go skating, go skiing, go sledding, go swimming, go tobogganing, go window shopping. Do you understand all of them?
Go window shopping, no.
Go window shopping?
No. Ah, like when you go to the shop but see from the window the things there?
Yeah, that's like a teacher. A teacher never goes shopping. Because I don't have money to go shopping. I only go window shopping, understand? I look, I dream, I look, I dream, and walk away. This is to go window shopping, understand? It's a very, very good activity, okay?
Well, teacher, in this case, these verbs, it's more common, but can I use the infinitive here? No, it's not obligation using the ing.
Go to.
For example, go to dance?
Yes, exactly.
No, 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 no.
No?
You can say, do you wanna dance and hold my hands? That's okay. But do you wanna go to dance? No, that's wrong.
No.
That's wrong.
It's wrong.
The expression is go dancing. Where are you girls going tonight? We are going dancing. Okay, that's how they would respond. Understand?
Okay.
Now, the next verb is probably the one that often creates the most problem. Carol, can you read for us to stop?
To stop. Usually followed by gerund. She stopped walking to me. She doesn't talk to me anymore. They stopped
it's talking,
working.
not walking.
Talking, sorry.
They stopped working.
They stopped working. They don't work anymore because of the lockdown.
Okay. You see, memorize. The verb to stop is always followed by gerund. I wrote here usually, but I'm saying always. You're confusing, teacher. No. Memorize, it's always ing. Because if you use the infinitive, stop to talk, it's because the person was doing another activity and she stopped doing that activity in order to talk to you. Understand what I'm saying? Oh, what time do you stop working? What time do you stop studying? Yesterday, I stopped watching TV. Was about midnight. I stopped watching. Understand?
Yeah.
So, when we use stop, the other verb is in the ing. If I use stop plus a verb in infinitive, Carol, can you read the difference here?
Yes. To stop plus infinitive means that you stopped doing something in order to do something else. She stopped to talk to me. She was walking on the street, and when she saw me and
she
stopped
saw
to,
me. I'm sorry, my mistake. My mistake. When
she saw me and stopped to talk to me. They stopped to work. They were having a break, but something urgent came up, and they came up, and they stopped the break in order to go back to the work.
Understand this. So, in both examples, I using she stopped to talk, they stopped to work. But as I told you, if you always remember that stop is followed by the ing, you remember that she stopped doing something with the purpose of talking to me. They stopped doing something with the purpose of working. You always have an interrupted action after stopped and you use infinitive. Understand? Like, I was driving back home, but I needed to stop to go to the toilet. So I stopped driving to go to the toilet. Understand?
It is something temporary, like
yes. When you say she stopped talking to me, it's permanent. She doesn't talk to me anymore. She hates me. Understand? Okay?
Okay.
And when you say she stopped to talk, it means she interrupted doing something with the purpose of talking. Okay?
Yeah.
Good. Now, Marcus, can you read this next part, please? Certain verbs.
Of course. Certain verbs like can be followed by both the infinitive or the gerund. The idea is almost similar in most cases. Example.
Okay. Okay. For example, to begin.
To begin, to like, to love, to hate, to start. Can't stand, can't bear.
Bear.
Can't bear.
Bear.
Beer is another
Beer
thing.
is what you think.
I wanna be.
Prefer.
Prefer.
Do you understand all the expressions and verbs?
Can't bear is, what does it mean?
Can't tolerate. Tolerate.
Okay.
Okay? You see, all these verbs, if I say, what time do you start working? What time do you start to work? No problem. What time did you begin to give your speech? What time did you begin giving your speech? I love dancing. I love to dance.
Like I can say, I like to eat, or I like eating chocolate. It's the same.
Okay. If you had stopped at I like eating or I like to eat, that would be perfect. Because this, as I mentioned in the previous class, the only difference that exists between the choice for the gerund or the ing is exactly this. When you said, I like to eat chocolate, it's something specific. Maybe you don't like caruru, you don't like carajé, but chocolate you love.
Yes.
So when it's something specific, and I'm telling you this because if you have any grammar book in your house, if it's a basic grammar or intermediate grammar, they will mention as no difference at all. You will only learn in this in advanced grammar, that there is a difference, understand? When it's something specific, the choice should be for the infinitive. So, who was reading? Carol?
Me.
Yeah, I don't know.
Mark?
Marco.
Read the examples, Mark.
She loves cooking. She loves to cook. She likes traveling. She likes to travel. She hates to stay home. She hates to stay home.
You see? Up to an intermediate level of English, both sentences are perfect. Everyone understands you. They know what you're saying, and there is no grammar problem. Okay?
Okay.
But if you really want to speak English well in a more, let's say, advanced level, you will see the difference here. Can you read the difference? In more advanced grammar,
In more advanced grammar, you can learn that the infinitive should be used if it is to refer to something specific, and the gerund specific, and the gerund
specific.
Specific, right? Yeah. And the gerund, it is a general sense.
Okay. So I'll give you an example before you're reading the examples for me. If I ever say, for example, I love reading, and I stop there, you can imagine that is everything. Magazines, online news, newspapers, books in general, all kinds of books, okay? I even mentioned that when I go to the toilet and I have nothing to read, I read shampoo labels, understand? Yes, I love reading, so I read all the ingredients. If you ask me about the ingredients of many different brands of shampoo, I might remember because I have read everything, understand?
Oh my God. You can take your cell phone if you for your bedroom.
It's because I love reading.
A lot of it's free time.
Yes.
It's different of I love to read before going to sleep. I love to read online news. I love to read books by Dan Brown. I love to read history books. Understand?
Yes.
So if I say, that was your case, Max, when you said chocolate, that's why it was better to say, I like to eat chocolate. I like eating. Yes, I like eating means everything they sell in Salvador. Understand?
But I like to.
Yeah. Yeah, me too, but my stomach doesn't. Understand? The last time I was in Salvador, we went to a restaurant in Pelourinho. It was called Senac, I think. I don't know if it still exists.
Yeah,
There was
Senac,
yeah. According to my wife, it was supposed to be very good. The food was excellent, but my stomach didn't like. So it was one night at the restaurant and 3 nights and 3 days in the toilet. Understand?
Because it's too heavy. It's a kind of food really heavy, guys.
I thought it was too heavy for me, okay? I am heavy, the food was heavy, so there was a conflict, understand? And 3 days in the toilet, okay? I couldn't even go back to the bed. So understand here, that's the examples. She loves cooking. She's passionate about it, and she likes cooking everything. Chinese food, Italian food, Thai food, Mexican food, all kinds of food. She loves to cook on the weekends. During the week, no. She works. But on the weekends, she loves to cook. She likes traveling. Every opportunity she has, she travels. She likes to travel when she's on vacation. The rest of the year, it's not a big deal. She hates staying home. She loves going out all the time to party, you know. She hates to stay home on any occasion. She hates to stay home during the quarantine.
My situation, I hate staying at home during the quarantine. Oh my God.
Yes. You see, it is not good. It's not good for her. I'm sorry. For her to stay isolated due to the quarantine, in spite of not enjoying going out all the time. But staying home because she's forced to, it's kind of boring, okay? It makes her depressed. The only option, the only different verb to that list was the verb to prefer. I'm going to read because I want to emphasize something. Prefer. Observe the use. When you say prefer doing something, you have to say, I prefer doing this to doing that. I use the ing, and I need the preposition to in the middle. If you say, I prefer to stay home, if you use the infinitive, you cannot use to, you see, I prefer to stay home to go to the movie. You have to. No, not possible. So you have to say, I prefer to stay home rather than to go to the movie. Okay? All right?
All right, okay.
Yes.
Now, some verbs can, now I'm changing topics. Some verbs are always followed by the infinitive. And observe how interesting it is, the formation of some negatives. Like, I hope. Hope is always followed by the infinitive. I hope to see you soon. He promised to be here by 10. He promised not to be late. You see? It's not that he didn't promise. He promised. He promised what? Not to be late. You see? The use of not is here, it's not contracted, and it's emphasized with your stress. He promised not to be late. Okay?
Okay.
Well, here I have a list of verbs that are followed by the infinitive, but before the infinitive, I have a pronoun or I have a noun. Like, can you tell Mary to call me? Is to tell someone to do something. Okay? I will invite you to come to visit me. Invite someone to do something. All these verbs here are followed by a person that can be a noun or a pronoun, and then I use the infinitive, okay? I think all the verbs are easy and it's not a problem. Now, here I have 4 examples that they can be followed by the gerund or the infinitive, but the idea is different. The verbs are remember, forget, regret, and try. Remember, forget, regret, and try. The 4 verbs, when you use the gerund, it's always the idea of something that happened in the past. For example, I remember spending 3 days in the toilet the first time I went to Salvador.
Okay,
a real example. A real example. I remember spending 3 days in the toilet after eating typical food.
Yeah.
Understand?
Bad memory.
So, yes, and bad memories we don't forget.
Yes.
But remember plus ing is a past action. For example, you go out with your husband, and after you get to a certain place, he asks you, did you lock the door? Yes, I did. Are you sure? You stop, think, and say, yes, I remember locking the doors. So you close your eyes and you can picture yourself inserting the key, rotating the key, and locking the door. Understand?
Yes.
Exactly the same idea with forget, regret, and try. Okay? But forget, when I use the infinitive, remember to do something, forget to do, it's different. It's not a past thing. It's an obligation that I have to. For example, don't forget to finish your report tomorrow morning. Understand? It's your duty. It's your responsibility. Then I say, don't forget to finish. It's wrong to say, don't forget finishing. Okay? And the verb to regret, okay? When I use the same idea, when I use the ing, it refers to an action that happened in the past, and I feel very sorry about it, probably in the present. For example, I regret having drunk a lot last night. Or I regret drinking a lot last night in a very simple way. That means today I feel very bad because I exaggerated in the booze last night. So I regret doing that. Okay? I regret lending him the money. He never paid me back. So I feel very bad. When you regret to do something and you can't pay attention to movies, when the police officer or when a soldier or a military goes to someone's house to give some bad news, they say, ma'am, I regret to tell you that your son was killed in action, that your son died in an accident, or that your husband was murdered this morning. And you see the women usually going crazy or desperate, understand? Yes, because you are very sorry, but you have to inform the person about something bad. It's never good. Trying, it's try. Doing means to experiment, to try something with a new approach. For example, let's suppose that either Livia or Carol or even Marcos, they prepare something and they ask you, what do you think? Is it good? Why don't you try putting a little bit more salt? Okay. Understand? Why don't you try putting? Okay? Your car has making a funny noise. Then I say, why don't you try changing the oil? That means experiment. Do something with a new approach. And when I say try to do something, it means make an effort, try hard. Understand? I know that English is not easy, but you have to try to learn it. It's important. Okay? Mm-hmm. I am trying to teach you English online, which, yes, you see, it's not easy for me. Imagine, I have spent 35 years of my life having students sitting in front of me. Understand? So online, it's different. Here you have a list with all the verbs that are followed by the gerund and followed by the infinitive. Some of them, that's why usually some of them can be followed by another form, but with a special meaning. It's the case of love, hate, okay? And of course, as usual, there is an exercise here. Okay? And tomorrow I'll give you the answers to the exercise and clear any doubt you might have. Thank you very much for watching the class. I hope you all have a lovely evening. Enjoy eating your chocolate, Max. Okay?
Chocolate eggs.
Yes, and I'm very glad that you're back, Livia. I was missing you. See you tomorrow. Okay?
But I had to rest.
Yeah, but
I was very tired.
Yeah, now you're rested. So you can watch more classes for at least 1 week, okay? Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Tomorrow.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See ya.